Okay, part 2. Overdependence on AI. While AI can enhance learning experiences, over reliance on technology may hinder students' critical thinking and problem solving skills. Relying too heavily, they don't want you thinking about anything. Relying too heavily on AI driven solutions might reduce students' ability to think creatively and independently. Those who use electronic calculators as opposed to grandfathers who conducted calculations mentally experience this. Job displacement for educators. It cannot replace unique insights, creativity, and adaptability that human teachers bring to the classroom. So it should complement, not replace, human instructors. 6. Lack of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence plays a pivotal role in education, nurturing social skills and empathy. AI lacks emotional intelligence, or they want a life of robots. They want to do away with all of us and have robots running around. You know, they only need so many sex slaves and, slave laborers. The rest of us, they don't want us around anymore, folks. And cannot fully comprehend and respond to students' emotions as human teachers can. This deficiency might hinder the development of students' emotional intelligence, interpersonal abilities. Ever heard of socializing a puppy rump? Okay. Glitches and reliability. Depending heavily on AI introduces a risk of technical glitches and system malfunctions. Unforeseen errors in AI. Interpersonal assessment and feedback. Automatic grading and assessment systems may lack the nuanced feedback that human teachers provide. Like when I was in college, you'd have written tests and, a question, if it's an essay question, you'll, oh yeah, this is good, this is right, this little part's wrong. Not just, oh, you missed this question by a dumb robot, therefore you fail. That a teacher once in college say he'd never given a student an F. He goes, because that's like saying you sat through this class for 3 months and didn't learn one damn thing, which is usually not the case. Distraction and multitasking could lead to, oh, no kidding, like they're not distracted enough from carrying these stupid phones glued to their butts all day. Okay, if you people really want to get back at the rump and all these idiots trying to take over the United States, take that cell phone and throw it in the nearest dumpster. That's what I did. Okay? I don't carry a tracking device on me. They can listen to you with the phone turned off. That's why they came out with them. Students might be tempted to explore unrelated content or use AI devices for non-educational purposes, hampering their focus. Teacher training and AI literacy. Effective incorporation of AI into teaching methods requires educators to receive proper training in AI literacy and its applications. Expensive implementation cost. AI in education involves significant costs for schools and institutions. Not all educational settings may have the financial resources to adopt these advanced AI solutions. Human-led discussions, and then an integration might lead to a shift in traditional classroom dynamics. Human-led discussions, debates, and interactions could be replaced by automated interactions. So let me go back here. Expensive implementation cost. So here's what I think. I went to a school board meeting over this last summer to speak out against, they wanted to once again increase taxes, property taxes, for to give more schools money so that they could improve the failing students that couldn't pass anything, and help the teachers. And my first response, where I stood in front, I had like What do you get, 3 minutes to talk to the gods? Okay. I said, you can't buy a good teacher. Okay? And one of the board members like shaking her head. Yeah, you're right. You can't buy. Nodding her head. Of course, the other three did go for that. And more money for what? You can't buy a good teacher. You're either a good teacher or you're not. You're a good student or you're not. Money for what? Not to mention, the other guy that was there said that they had like millions in surplus set aside, so none of it made any sense. But to increase school taxes was illegal anyway, because they increase your property taxes when they do that, and that's totally against the Constitution. It's illegal, really. And briefly, I'll tell you why. This is some of the stuff. One of the things I read. To fight taxation without representation, to avoid dictatorship over land, so founding fathers chose allodial ownership of land for the system of ownership. Wendell versus Chandel, 1948. So that we own the land absolutely, similar to the king in common law England. Allodium means own land which he possesses merely in his own right, without owing any rent or service to any supreme superior. Wallace versus Hampstead, 1865. Allodium, Black Laws Dictionary, land held absolutely in one's own right and not of any lord or superior. Land not subject to feudal duties or burdens. And absolute, held by absolute ownership without recognizing any superior to whom any duty is due on account thereof. Right there. I had more things, but I won't get into that. Okay. So I said what they need to do is bring back books. Books. They can't censor. Books that you can read. Books are cheaper. Right now, they've got, what do they have for kids? Wi-Fi. Like, well, how many per classroom? Let's just say 30 laptops per classroom. Routers out the wazoo. Do you know how much dangerous Wi-Fi that is for kids now to be sitting around? No, they could wire it, but no. They don't want to do that. So here's some things in case you don't know about how dangerous Wi-Fi is. Did the rump tell you that? No. The rump was busy in 2020. He's committed to safeguarding America's vital communication network and securing 5G technology. Where he rammed that through. I can't tell you how much... calling it national security, my ass. I can't tell you how much money. I forget, back then I was looking up all these bills. Billions of dollars for this 5G crap. It's a crappy service. Because anything is an interference, a tree, That's not, because they want to spy. Yeah, when they roll this out in China, that shows like, 5G suck, 4G better. Because it is. But no, they gotta use it for other crap. Nefarious crap, like always. And Billy's all... And then the last I'd heard, because I've been, working against that. And the last I heard, back in about this time, it was Congress or Senate had voted against it, saying they need to do more safety testing. So it was sitting in the Committee on science, technology, uh, science and technology, communications, I forget. And it sat and sat, and I kept, writing, my letters saying why I'm against it. And it was supposed to be up for a vote. Well, what did they do? Suddenly it's passed. Because you know why? They slipped it through some other bill. They didn't vote on it. They didn't give anybody's voice. No. This is how they operate. So, well, let me tell you what this radiation, Wi-Fi, and electromagnetic radiation does. In 2011, it was classified that RF radiation is now a group 1 carcinogen. It increased brain cancer with cell phone use. Brain ganglioma. And let me tell you, I hear about these all the time. No, Verizon, the telecom industry is not going to let you know this because their bottom line is freaking money. They know the studies are out there, but they deny it. They say it's all safe, and they know damn well it's not. It's why everywhere I go. I had a friend. He was a sheriff who bought a dog for me. I found out he died of a brain tumor, brain cancer. It's a glioma. I was taking a walk one day, and I overheard a lady saying, yeah, they found a tumor in his head the size of a baseball. I hear about it all the time. Biden's own son died of a brain tumor, and he himself said, I'm sure you can look this up, that he knew it was from his cell phone. I had people come up to me where I had a booth one time saying, yeah, I know this person, that person. They carried their cell phone right in their right pocket. That's where they got a tumor. But not only that, it causes sperm damage, brain development, exceeds regulatory limits, phones near the body. Washington State University, Martin Paul, PhD, you might could look him up. He wrote from Washington State University. He wrote a letter to Governor Jerry Brown, which I have a copy of. At Martin Paul, he was an expert on this electromagnetic dangers. Martin Paul, electromagnetic dangers of Wi-Fi. On the voltage centers of each cell. Oh, and he was trying to get SB 649 vetoed. 5G house dangers. 2,000 times more towers. With 5G, they're going to be putting up even more towers. 519 failed House vote. Moved to committee on, Bill 1968, no vote, but slipped it through in another bill. Okay. EMFs activate, here we go, activate channels in membranes surrounding our cells. The cell's voltage gate channels put forces on voltage sensor at 7.2 million times greater than the forces on other charge groups in our cells. The Russians in the 70s were sending EMFs to the U.S. consulate, and they were getting sick, and all of them were getting sick, and they couldn't understand why. And they found out later that the Russians have studies on this. They don't use it on their own people, by the way, and they knew that what it would do. Also affects plant cells. The FCC makes decisions on wireless industry. The wireless industry lies. There's thousands of studies. They don't look at the non-thermal effects. The they only look at the thermal, like the microwave effects, but it's the non-thermal that's so damaging to people and plants. 224 scientists in 41 countries wrote papers on the damage this does. But we hear that from the communications industry? No. Not a thing out of them or the rump. It damages DNA, has neurological effects, hormonal causes. It causes diabetes. There was a ski resort where people's pacemakers go off, where they've got those cell towers right nearby, and you're at a higher altitude. Chromosome breakage, testes are lowered in male fertility, female changes, changes in calcium signaling, causes cancer, causes cell lysis, cataracts, oh, and here's another one, and I've seen pictures of this. It causes stacking of blood cells. Normal blood cells are separated. It causes them to clump together, so that you're at a high altitude. It's going to do that even more. You've got, blindness, hearing loss, tinnitus. They've had cancer clusters where they've had those big cell towers nearby or in the parking lot. So that's another reason. AI, that's just more Wi-Fi for the kids to sit in front of. They're not going to learn anything. They're going to just learn what the rump wants them to know about how to be a good Nazi, I guess. Because like I said, my dad wrote a whole book on this. You can't spell Jesus in Hebrew. That's what he did. Hitler, he got rid of all the farming jobs and such of that. And what he wanted was to hire a bunch of snitches, incompetent people to be spies. Those are the kind of people you don't want to give power to. It goes to their head. All they do is snitch on people all day. They don't like somebody, they'll lie about them, So that's another reason we don't need his AI. How much is he spending on this idiotic AI? For a bunch of robots to come and attack us with? Is that what the rump wants to do? Or, have their little... Look. Whatever he wants, we need to want the opposite. And here's Bill Gates. Don't you want to know what he's got to say about it? Bill Gates says doctors could be replaced by AI in 10 years. How will U.S. workers fare? Well, he don't give a damn. He wants 3/4 of the planet dead. Doctors too, I guess. Well, I won't be going to their stupid AI doctor. I can promise you that. I'd rather die. I mean, this is just total. These people are monsters. This is a monster right here. Look at this four-eyed freak. Him, how old is Trump? 76? You would think at that age they would be reprioritizing their priorities. Like, they're going to be meeting the big guy pretty soon. And he's going to ask you, you four-eyed freak, what did you do for people while you were here? Because let me tell you, the Creator created us. It says in the Bible, be fruitful and multiply. Not sit back and kill yourselves because there's too many of you on the planet. Okay? Gates, you freak. You ugly ass freak. Yeah, I'm talking to you. And, he wanted life on the planet. And he's way above you, Gates. He's way out of your league and over your head, okay? Don't listen to these people. They're a bunch of lying scum. There's a Creator, and the soul, they can't touch. They can kill you. They can kill you, but they can't touch your soul. The soul goes back. You don't ever die. You go back. You go to live in eternity. As soon as you die, you meet your Creator. That's the first thing you see. And this is true. People have died and been brought back to life. These are true cases. It used to be a show on TV. Died and came back or something. ER. They're witnesses to this. ERs and people were clinically dead for like 10, 15 minutes. They came back, and atheists, it turned into believers because they know the Creator is there. The soul, they can't touch that. They can't touch it. So we got Bill Gates' statement, and yeah, I don't know if there's anything else to add to this. I just wanted to say that they don't need to be putting AI in schools, and what you should do is forget about the federal, like Trump, back to his 5G crap. Okay, it's only that. Oh, here's another thing, case in point. He's got Bobby Kennedy, we want you to go and find out what's causing autism. He's at some conference where he's saying, and I heard him saying, like, I don't know, you think maybe it's the stuff they're spraying everywhere? Well, Bobby Kennedy, we're going to put him in charge of finding out what's causing autism. So he's sending Bobby Kennedy to Siberia, where, that ought to keep him occupied and out of the way for the next 20 years. I mean, good luck with that one. It's like, oh gee, what caused cancer to this person over here? I mean, he tells this kid at some speech, he said, oh, you got cancer, we're going to find out what's causing that cancer. You are, you moron! You're causing the cancer. Because let me tell you, not only is it Wi-Fi and increasing cell towers, but now they're bombarding you with microwaves by zapping the clouds where they're doing all this chemtrail stuff or geoengineering. Just go to geoengineering.com or watch the dimming on YouTube. I'll look at it for you right now. This is by Geoengineering, Dale Wigington. They're spraying these toxic plumes out of planes, and it's been tested, and the stuff is strontium. Right here, watch this movie, The Dimming.
Would likely be put there by airplanes.
Oops, I'm sorry. Let me go back to the beginning. It contains strontium, aluminum, barium, sulfur dioxide, graphene oxide. They've even used blood parts, all kind of crap. And that's what I'm working on now. I've got just countless videos and pictures of this stuff, and they do it all the time. And I think the thing is, it's killing plants. It's killing trees. And watch this movie. It's called The Dimming on YouTube. And here, okay, yeah. Let me show you a couple of these. Let me show you a couple of these photographs that I got. Okay, these are photos I took. Alright, so let me make sure. Alright, you see that? Look at this. Wait, hold on. Look at this crap. Wait on a second. I don't know if you can see this good on here. Well, this is... Let me get up here where you can... Well, I'm showing you... okay, you can kind of see... This is kind of foggy here, but... Let's see. Yeah, it's kind of hard to... Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Let me go to some more here. Hold on. I'm working with some people to try to... Anyways, what I was saying is, don't go to your... They're a bunch of idiots. They're worthless idiots. Go read that. Go to your state assembly. The state there's House and Senate of your state representatives, and contact every one of them by email and tell them to stop this. A lot of Florida Senate just passed a bill. Tennessee banned it last summer because it's hurting their crops. Farmers will tell you they're getting all this aluminum that's killing the bacteria and stuff in the soil. And I think they're doing it on purpose because they don't want anybody self-sustaining, folks. They don't want you self-sustaining. They want their Nazi dictatorship. I already showed these. Hold on. Let's see, I don't know if I showed this. They like to put their little X's in the sky. What the hell is that all about? Real planes going somewhere don't have time to do X maneuvers. And it's Trump. You know, he's got Kennedy over here for the next 20 years looking at what causes autism. And he's not looking at the target, which is geoengineering. Has the rump stopped that? No. He hasn't done anything to stop this. Well, I think I already showed those. I should find the ones where it were. Let's see. Let me go back to my older ones. No, that's the same one. Hold on a second. Oh, there's so many. Okay, here we go. Look at you can see this one better. Look at these lines. And they got teeth-like patterns. These are right over. Let's see. Hang on. Oh, yeah, look at that one. You can't see good. You can see it better. Oh, here's an X. Look at the X. They love that. Tic-tac-toe in the sky. And this is massive. You know how much money this would cost to spray this stuff? And they spray it everywhere. Over the entire state. Every state. Where is waste, fraud, and abuse? Okay, why is he not stopping this? Huh, people? This is billions of dollars they're spending to kill the planet. And then he's proud about going to Mars. Hey, wake up call, rump. You ain't got the money to go to Mars. We don't have the money to go to Mars right now, you freak. You know? But they got money for this. They got money for this crap. Yeah, I say roast the rump. Get him out of there. Get somebody. That's all I gotta say. I'm getting pissed off.